So we've already talked about it a little bit, but during the holidays, during Christmas, self-care can be challenged. Not everyone else has respect for it. Maybe they don't care about self-care, or they're in the mode of like, oh, I'll get back to that in January. What can we do during the holidays to kind of keep our eye on the ball with our self-care if others aren't being very supportive of it?
Yeah, I think about there's kind of two types of people in that situation. There are those that just don't really even want to hear your perspective, and those that um maybe are just unsafe to hear that perspective. So I don't know. I know for me, when I need if I'm not feeling like my boundaries are being respected, if at all possible to have a healthy conversation with those people, I'm going to kind of explain myself and say, hey, this is why I'm choosing this, or maybe it's not even an explanation, but it's just a this is what is going to happen for me, and this is just the way it's going to be. So just so they have the expectation, I think expectations are a big deal when it comes to self-care. But again, not everybody's healthy enough to have those kind of conversations. So again, I think it comes back to that perspective of being okay to remind yourself that you are making that investment in yourself, and that you are pursuing health, but the people around you may not be in a healthy place to understand why. So I don't know. I think you have to be secure in the decisions that you're making to be able to stand firm in that. Um, I again, I think people come to the holidays with like this person, maybe the firstborn has the expectation that everything's going to go this way, and the youngest in the family comes with wanting to play games and be social, and the middle child comes in with a chip on her shoulder, or however that works. But everybody comes into the holiday with an expectation, and if we can at all communicate that proactively, again, part of that proactive self-care, we come into that holiday event with somewhat being on the same page, or at least having the knowing each other's expectations. Because I think that one of the hardest times of where challenges happen is when we all have our own expectations and they're not being met, and it's like, how are they going to be met if nobody knows what they are? So just that healthy communication, if at all possible.
Yeah. I mean, I think like it's important to keep in mind that the boundaries and self-care are for you. Like, so they're not things that you're doing. Well, you could argue that I'm doing this self-care so I can put up with you not liking my self-care. I don't know if you know that. You could have those conversations, probably won't go very well, but I do think that it's important to keep that perspective, that the reason I'm drawing this boundary, or the reason I'm implementing this proactive step of self-care is so that I can maintain health. And again, these are rhythms we're putting in place. They're things we're practicing on a regular basis. But yeah, I mean, I remember when Amy and I started Sabbathing, we had friends that just did not, for whatever reason, didn't like it and thought it was dumb and silly. And I mean, it was really challenging for me at the time. But over time, it's just like, it's something that we committed to and we've seen a lot of fruit from. And like, that's what we were after. We were after that it was going to slow our family down. It was going to give us more presence with each other and with the Lord. It was going to, not overstress or overstretch our family. So I think to some degree, like, well, here's what I've seen. I've seen that sometimes, and I've even seen this from me toward other people, that if they're doing something that I feel convicted by, sometimes I can react and be like, I know I should be doing that, but I'm not going to admit that. So I'm just going to tell them they're stupid, like something like that. It's very normal and very human behavior. And so maybe just, do some journaling on that, figure out where your self-awareness is, and maybe, I don't know, just don't take too much responsibility for how other people view your self-care. I just don't think that that's beneficial.
Yeah. There's a part of this where we have to understand that it's not other people's job to support our needs for self-care. I mean, hopefully there will be a few people that do, that really care about us, but in general, that's not what other people are thinking about. And we may need to ask ourselves the question, why am I needing everyone to understand my needs for self-care? I think about in my life, really there's kind of my inner circle, my wife, my kids, people I feel really close to. Well, yeah, I want to have conversations with them. I want them to understand what my needs are. But if they're not in that inner circle, other friends, acquaintances, people in my small group, like, I don't need them to understand. And maybe that's an area I need to let go of other people's expectations. And so if I'm leaving a party early and someone asks why, and I say, well, I need to head to bed, and they're like, dude, come on, it's like, sorry, got to go. And if they don't understand, it's like, okay, maybe that's part of my journey is I need to learn to not manage people's expectations of me, to not try to have everybody think well of me. And if they don't understand something I need, that's okay. I can let go of that. That's a them thing, not me. No, I'm not saying be rude about it or, act like a jerk in how you treat people. But if you are practicing some healthy rhythms of self-care and others that aren't in that immediate circle, don't really understand, to just have peace with it. Like that's not their job to. And I'm going to know what I need and I'm going to pay attention to that, whether it's December 25th or, June 3rd, no matter what the calendar says. I know what I need to be a healthy version of me, and to the best of my ability, I want to live that out. And if others do or don't understand, I'm not going to get too wrapped up in that.
Yeah.